really need your own real estate agent if you're buying a house in 2025 in a world of chat GPT and Zillow and realtor.com, homes.com, all these online options? Do you really need an agent? Well, let me just give you a couple of reasons why you should consider hiring your own agent, whether you're in Cabarrus County, North Carolina, calling Lee Brown, or you are somewhere else in another market. The first thing I would tell you is that if you're in a high demand area and you've picked out the best house, somebody else picked it out too. And so we may wind up in a bidding war or a multiple offer situation. If you are bringing an offer to the table alongside 8 other offers, and the other 8 offers all have a professional realtor who's crafted a winning offer, and you've made up some things based on the internet, I can tell you right now that the agent representing the seller is going to tell that seller how many of these offers have professional representation and which one doesn't. You're not going to win, pumpkin, and I love you. I'm sure you're wonderful. I'm sure you're very smart and you figured a lot of things out and you've done so many things. You might have even taken the licensing class and just didn't pass it, but you know things. I get that, but you don't know what a professional realtor knows. And what we know comes from muscle memory. We do real estate every day. So we know what's changing. We know which home inspectors are reputable. We know which things we're looking for in a pre-approval letter. We understand the schematics of the market. And I can often tell in the deposit amount if you're serious about buying this house or not. But if you are unrepresented, there's nobody to guide you except the internet. And if you're watching this to get guidance, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for watching my channel. But this is not real estate representation. I am not your fiduciary, and I'm also certainly not legal counsel because I do not have a law degree. So be very thoughtful about what you're watching on the internet if it's going to help you win or not. And spoiler alert, it's not always the price that helps you win a house. There are so many factors going in, and a seasoned realtor knows that. Now, let's just say you want to buy a house and it's not in a high demand area, it's a low demand area, and you're the only offer at play. Well, if I'm representing this house and the sellers who own this house, and you bring me an unrepresented offer, I'm still going to get to explain to them, this person is representing themselves. And the seller's going to say, what's that mean to me? And I'll say, well, they're going to ask me questions and I can't answer it. You as an unrepresented buyer will say, well, Lee Brown, how'd they get that price? And I get to say, this is the price the sellers have set. I don't work for you. I can't answer all your questions. And then you're going to say, well, Lee Brown, will they take X dollars or Y dollars? And I will say, if you make an offer, I will present it to the sellers and the sellers will give you a response. But I cannot counsel you on what to offer. I can't counsel you on any of those things because I don't work for you. And then let's just say that we do have an offer that works out. You're going to say, well, where do I get a home inspector? And I will say, find one. Well, can't you give me a list? I'm not going to give you a list because I can't be responsible for what you think about that vendor when I don't work for you. But you're welcome to go to the internet. Now, I know there are agents that will give up their vendor list and give their information to an unrepresented buyer, but you're taking on a layer of liability there that I don't owe to that person because I don't work for them. Now, of course, I want the best possible outcome for my sellers, but I owe to my sellers the best possible advice. I don't owe it to an unrepresented person. And I don't know why this is so hard to understand, y'all, but if you want the best of us as professional realtors, you hire us. And if you want to figure it out on your own, we absolutely understand that. That's human nature. There's a DIY somewhere in a lot of us that wants to figure it out. But then you're going to ask me, how do I fill out the paperwork? How do I ask for this? What do I get? And I get to say, figure it out, bring it over, I'll present it. I can't answer your questions. I don't work for you. And I don't mean that to sound ugly. It's just the reality of it. And so for the buyers that have discovered that we as realtors prefer that buyers have representation, this is why. Because if you have your own agent and you have hired Diane over here, Diane knows the market. She's got muscle memory. She understands how things work. And so I can talk to her in a way that I can't talk to you because she's your professional representation. She's your fiduciary. And then when I look at situations like home inspections, which are definitely the stickiest wicket we go through in the process, she's going to bring your stuff to me. I'm working on behalf of my sellers, and we can negotiate for both parties to try to get you through to a common ground. But in that repair process, if you don't have somebody in your corner, you might get very wound up about a repair item, and then emotion takes over and you want to run away from the house. Part of the job of your professional representation is to help you evaluate pros and cons and plan A and plan B. And sometimes it takes us being in the middle of things to calm the emotion down so that you can make a logical choice. It might be one of the most underappreciated things that a professional realtor does. And what you're paying for is not just our time. It is not just the mechanics of the process. It is the fact that we are an emotional absorber and we are your sounding board. And sometimes when you ready to pop off and then you calm down a little bit later after you talk to us, we help you figure out the best possible outcomes, because that's what we want. And so when you're evaluating if you want an agent or not, take the emotion out, take the DIY nature and calm it down just a second and evaluate, what am I getting for the commission I've decided to pay? Because money should enter the chat after you figure out what you're looking for. Then you negotiate that with your buyer's agent, and then you go buy a house. But if you're trying to evaluate whether or not you need an agent based on commissions and expenses, you got to slow it down, because money shouldn't lead the way in anything. Now, if you want to buy or sell a house in Cabarrus County or Greater Charlotte, you should call me and give me a little ringy-dingy and say, "Hey, Lee Brown, come help me out." And I'll be delighted to interview with you and tell you how it is we serve our buyers and sellers. And if you're not in the Greater Charlotte market, you could still give me a little call and I will tell you who I love somewhere else that is all in for real estate and all in for getting you the real estate outcome you're looking for. That's what we're here for. And if you don't want any of that, you don't have to call at all. That's cool too, because there's options for everybody, and that's the beauty of real estate.